Roommate thought she was sneaky. Ended up owing me $400 and got suspended. This is a long one, TLDR is below. So, this happened my second semester dorming at my college campus. I had met my roommate at orientation and could kind of already tell she was going to be a pain in my ass. And I was right about that. I had planned on moving rooms to be closer to some friends the next semester. But, let me get to the story that led to my revenge. On our campus you had to pay for meals using your student ID, which had a certain amount of money on it each semester. You could also use an app that you put your name and ID info into and it makes it easier to pay. But, the name and ID must match for it to work, which will be important later. Any funds from the fall semester would roll over into the spring. But, then at the end of spring it would just expire. Because of this, and because I only ate once or two a day, I had a ton saved up on my card. My roommate on the other hand, did not. So, I offered to pay for some of her meals from time to time in trade of her picking up the food for us. Which involved her using my card twice in person and then she'd return it. Then, one day, I noticed on my app that my card was being charged even when I was not ordering food. And not just a meal, like a meal for several people. This meant that whoever was ordering, I wonder who, either had to have stolen my ID card, which I had in my pocket when I got the charge, or was impersonating my info in the app, which are both big no-nos on my campus. I was quick to put two and two together and was pretty pissed. I was initially going to confront her on it, but decided to formulate a plan instead. That day I went and ordered a second ID card for $25 to use for later. As it took a couple of weeks to get the new one, I let her charge several things to my card over a good 2 weeks. For her and her friends. And she wasn't very good at hiding it either. As they would come to our dorm and eat, while I just screenshot and sent emails to the support team of the app about the charges, knowing nothing would get done until I contacted someone in person. And one day it got even better, as you can buy groceries with the card off campus as well. She decided to pay for alcohol with my card. Which doesn't get pinged as an issue on my card due to me being over 21, but she was only 19. Not sure how she got it, but it was just the thing to finally act on my plan. I put my best sad face on and contacted the head of campus living and head of my dorm about the charges on my account. I dropped some hints that it could be my roommate and mentioned I got a new ID and asked what I should do. I was told to order a new card and once I got it, to deactivate my current ID and use the new one for purchases now. Making my old ID have a balance of $0 and also to ping if someone uses it to buy anything. They also told me they would be visiting my dorm to discuss the issue with my roommate. I accepted that and waited. They sent the confirmation email that they would be visiting and I just decided to add more fuel to the fire. My roommate was groaning about not having the funds for food in front of me in our dorm. I told her I really couldn't help her as I was running low on funds and she kind of just laughed it off and left the room to probably go use my old ID. I deactivated my first card right after she left and surprise surprise she used my info to pay. Except when she tried to pay for her and her friends this time, it was declined and it pinged that my ID was used. Campus security was called and she was escorted back to our dorm. Pretty much perfect timing for our meeting with campus living. She was scared shitless when they came to the dorm to talk and look through her stuff. On her phone, still logged into the app, was my ID information and name. And in her dorm closet was a half-full bottle of cheap vodka. And on my phone was a screenshot of said unauthorized vodka purchase. In the end she was forced to pay me back all the funds she used, in cash, reported for underage drinking, which automatically suspends you from campus living for at least a year, and would have on her record that she performed identity theft. Which I also could have charged her for out of school. In the end, I got to have my own dorm for the remainder of that semester and even part of the semester after. Because it wasn't put as an available room for new dormers. I did get all my money back, from her parents, who were so embarrassed and apologized profusely. And when she did eventually come back to campus, no one wanted to dorm with her because they knew she had stolen her roommate's ID. I think in the end she rented off campus. TLDR, dorm roommate thought she could get away with identity theft, but got busted for stealing and alcohol possession. Move on to the comment. The timing of her leaving to get food, you going boop, deactivated and dorm officials coming to visit is so perfect, definitely some kind of combo multiplier for bonus points there. I actually took a chance deactivating it when I did. However, I egged her on by bringing my food back to the dorm room when I knew she'd be in there, A favorite food she always ordered for herself, no less. When she complained she was hungry, I knew she was about to do it again because she thought she was getting away with it. Not all of the stories on this sub are deserved or enjoyable to read, but this absolutely checked both of those boxes. Good for you. Bro, I been there. My last roommate stole my debit card and rang up $200 worth at the local mini mall. We're both in the military at our schools, so I have a court-martial with him coming up, haha. I think my favorite part is that the money she stole was money you weren't even spending. Maybe you had big plans for it later on, I'm not clear from the story. The only thing better than hitting someone with a well-deserved asshole tax is coming out ahead for doing it. Kudos. Wow. Stealing your ID to buy food isn't great, but you know, if she was just using it because she was hungry and in a tricky position, I could at least understand the motives behind the actions. But buying meals for all her friends as well? I wonder if she was pocketing cash from them for it as well and profiting from her little system? In the end, I got to have my own dorm for the remainder of that semester. Similar kind of thing happened to my dad way back when he was in college in the 70s. His roommate committed check fraud with one of my dad's checks and got caught. To add on to that, his other roommate, it was a 3-person room, left school at about the same time, so he had the whole 3-person room to himself for most of a semester. Big oof right there. Although I might think that this was overboard identity theft, abuse of trust and money definitely made her deserve it. But how exactly did she think she'd get away with all of it? I mean, you were bound to notice it someday. I don't know how you kept that secret for any length of time once you noticed. I would have had words with her immediately. Probably not the best or most entertaining plan, but I've got a bit of a temper. Her face must be something to look at when the card got declined. AMD, she got caught. This was a really nice post. People who steal should be dealt like this. Kudos to you for keeping your scheming a secret like this. It was one of the hardest secrets to keep. I wanted to implement the end of the plan like every day after I found out. But, I knew the alcohol was the perfect sign to end it there.